So you just downloaded Illuvium on the Epic Games Store and you're wondering, what do you do next? Well, you clicked on the perfect video. The first thing I want you to do is minimize the Epic Games Store. Come on over to the Illuvium Discord. I want you to go to announcements and scroll up. I can leave this link down below, but you never want to trust anyone in this world. So scroll up until you see the team builder. So when you see this post about the team builder showdown, which already took place, you are going to click this link right here for team builder link. Now, I'm already signed in, but if you don't already have an Illuvium account, make an Illuvium account, and then you'll come right to the team builder. Right now, for at least this private beta, you're not making your team inside of the Epic Game Store application, so you need to make it right here. So you're going to click Create a Team, name it whatever you want. And then you're going to be popped up at the screen. Now, you're going to have 28 slots to fill up. To get started, I would recommend 12 to 16 alluvials, and you can probably get away with 1 armor, 1 or 2 weapons, and the rest augments. This is going to be a good starting point just to learn the game, and then you can start looking at the videos from the pros to put together better deck compositions. And so I would recommend coming over, clicking this button. So this is going to be for synergies. If I click on here for water, this atlas, you can see it has a water synergy and a bulwark synergy. Now for a starting point, I would work on filling up at least to 5, but possibly to 7 of one of the base affinities. So we're sticking with water right here. It's also important to know that you can't stack synergies from the same line. So Atlas confused into Axon, confused into Axodon. If I also added an Axodon in here, it shows 2 waters, but I can't stack those synergies in a match. Another thing that might be a little more advanced if you're just starting out, you can see I have an option for 2 different Axons in here because it shows a dominant Bulwark or a dominant Scion. That's going to come into play when you start fusing to your Ranger and putting a weapon on the Ranger. Again, if you're just starting out, I wouldn't worry too much about that right now. So I'm going to go and take away that Axon. If you click this tab, you're going to get all of the alluvials. And you can search by whatever you want. So I said we're going to stick with water. So we're going to go through, and again, just as a starting point, let's pick some water alluvials. So I like Riptor. I like Dash. Let's get Lynx in here. Let's put a Stoic Lynx in there. If we click up here, we can see now we have 4 stacks of water. Let's pick a tier 0. How about a greater Water Doka? Another tier 0. Scion is a good choice. So we'll pick a Water Flish, and we'll pick Exalted Atipa. Okay, so now I get that 7 stacks of water. You can also look down. As I did that, I now have 2 Bulwark and 2 Fighter. So now I can look into getting a couple stacks of that. I'm going to get rid of the affinity, and I'm going to go here to class, and we're going to look at Bulwark to start. So we'll add in another Bulwark. Scarabok is a really good option. So now I get the 3 stacks of Bulwark, a Fighter. So why don't we look for a Fighter? You know, a great option would be from the Majol line. Let's go with a Jokul. I think that's how you say it. And again, you don't need to worry too much about these right here. I'm going to go with one that has a water dominant. Okay, so now we got 9 alluvials. We got 7 stacks of water, 3 of Bulwark, 2 of Fighter. Now we want to get a couple of those composite synergies in here, so those bigger, higher tier alluvials. So if we come up here to affinities, a water plus a water equals a tsunami. So let's see if we can get a tsunami in here. So now we could put these 2 in here for tsunami. So let's pick an Axodon, and let's pick the Geyser. And I said 12 to 16, so let's go down to classes and see if we can find a good class to stack up on. So we have a Mystic here already. So why don't we search a Mystic? You can see we have a couple more options here. So I'm going to throw both of these in there. An Adorius and the Exalted Apon. And I'd say you could definitely build out this team with just 12 alluvials, but throw some more in there because you're just learning. You want to learn more about these alluvials. To fill it out just for fun, I'm going to pick some of my favorite ones here. So let's pick a Ramfire. All right, an Umbre. Let's take a Seer. And we'll go with Scoriox. Okay, so the next thing, I'd come over to your suits, so your armor. Again, just starting out, don't worry too much about this. You can pick 1 armor. A strong armor there is going to be one that has a 40 mastery points. Tier 4, stage 3, you pick that. Come over to your weapons. Now you can see we have Tsunami and a lot of water. So let's pick a water weapon. And then we can also look down here. We have Fighter and Bulwark. So let's pick a weapon for Bulwark and Fighter. So Fighter, pick this, and let's go over to Bulwark, and we'll pick a stronger Bulwark. All right, so now we get 19. We can fill out with augments from this point on. Now, these are going to be the last thing that you're probably really going to understand. Until you understand the alluvials and how all of that works, this is going to be tougher. So if you just want to get to battling, I just go and fill out your deck with whatever you want. Get a mix of augments that are worth 20, 30, and 40 mastery points. So we'll go with 20, we'll go with one there, and there are a lot of these. They're going to take some time to learn. Two more. 28. So we're going to save this. Okay, now you're going to hop back into the game on the Epic Game Store. When you sign in, you're gonna come to this screen. Right now, Survival is what's already been out. Don't worry about that. Leviathan, we're not there yet. Over here, Overworld, most people are not going to have access to that right away. So we're going to be in here in the arena. I would recommend starting with a casual one. So click casual, continue. I'm just going to go over to ranked because I know I'm going to find a quick match. But I do recommend you start with casual mode. So down below, you can click change team. I made this one right here for subscribe and go play ranked. Now at the time of this recording, there's less than 400 people let into this beta. And for the most part, you're still finding a match pretty quickly. By the time you're watching this, I'm sure it's going to be almost instant. All right, here we go. So you're going to see the opponent's deck here. They have a lot of fire, magma, some water thrown in there. You'll have to learn how each of them interacts with each other. But as you can imagine, water is going to beat fire. Fire is going to beat like nature. Nature is going to beat water. So over here, you have 4 tokens that you can place on these legendary augments to see if you can add some of these to your deck. So I would generally go with a 3 and a 1, but know what you're picking. Usually the ones that add to affinities are only necessary if you have a deck made out of those. So you can see I had 3 and 2, so I got 1. Opponent got 1. So now you're going to start with some alluvials that have a low mastery point count. So this one has 30. Let's put it up front. A bulwark's good up front. And we're going to try to get some of those stacks right away. So let's go with another water. So water fighter. And we'll go with another water flish here. So you can see I have the 3 stacks of water. If I want to make a 4th stack, which isn't completely necessary right now, but I would click this plus, and then I would fuse to one of these alluvials. So now you can see my ranger now has 4 stacks. We're going to click play. As you can see, this alluvial down here was a rogue type, so it jumped to the back of the board. All right, rough start, but in this game, you could easily lose 3 or 4 rounds in a row and then come back and win. So along with water, earth is good against fire here. And this is a really strong earth alluvial. So I'm going to try to counter this rogue from coming to the back line. So I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to throw in another water type. So now I have 5 stacks of water, 3 stacks of bulwark. I used up all of my mastery points. So let's go ahead and give that a go. You can see over here, the opponent now has 5 stacks of fire, 3 of bulwark, 2 of rogue. They definitely have a very strong team going on here. So you can start throwing some augments on here. So you can see here. So right away, putting some shield on this guy is going to be good. I am going to throw in, let's see if we can get another alluvial in here. Let's see if this guy helps us sustain a little better. You can move these alluvials, but not if you don't have any mastery points. Let's give this a try. See if we can win 1 round. And don't be discouraged if you're in a situation like this where you're just losing quite a bit. A lot of the people who are in here early are really good players. Some pros from TFT. A lot of people who've been involved in Illuvium for years at this point. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make any comeback from here, but I can certainly try. So I didn't like how this guy back here was getting me. So let's go ahead and throw a couple rogues in here. So this rogue is going to jump to the back to get him. And we could throw another fighter in here. Why not? So now I have 8 alluvials on the board, so that's the most I can do. So next round, I can either switch some alluvials out if I make it to a next round, and then I can start adding more of these augment cards on top of these alluvials. That was a very strong deck. I'd imagine if we look at the ranking coming up, 13 something, that's halfway decent. But anyways, that was just a deck we threw together here on this video. If you need any extra help with setting this up, feel free to leave some comments down below. Follow this channel, find me on X, and let's all just have some fun playing Illuvium. Thanks.